Blood pressure is the lateral pressure exerted by the column of flowing blood on the walls of the arteries. Blood pressure is determined by the cardiac output and the peripheral resistance offered by the vessels. Maximum and minimum pressures in the arterial system are known as systolic and diastolic pressures, and they are given as follows. The instrument commonly used for measurement of blood pressure is Pigmonometer, and it consists of an inflatable flat rubber bag covered by a non-distensible cloth envelope called as Riva Rocky cuff. The cavity of the bag is connected by a long rubber tube to a manometer and by a short rubber tube to the rubber pump. A small valve is provided between the pump and the bag which permits the escape of air and reduction of the pressure when required. The manometer is a U-shaped tube with one limb being broader than the other, and the broader limb is the reservoir for mercury and the narrower limb is graduated from 0 to 300 mm, with the smallest division corresponding to a reading of 2 mm of mercury. The inflatable bag dimension, the length to width ratio is 2:1. Wider cuffs should be used in obese individuals and in lower limbs. Small cuffs should be used to record blood pressure in children. During blood pressure measurement, the following precautions are required. The subject should be given at least 5 minutes rest. No tight clothing is advisable. The arm of the subject should be completely exposed and kept at the heart level. Keep the cuff at heart level of the subject. While tying the cuff, care should be taken that middle of the inflatable bag should be just above the brachial artery. The cuff should neither be too tight nor too loose. The cuff should be 2.5 cm above the base of the cubital fossa. About 2/3 of the upper arm should be covered. The initial mercury mark should be at 0. Palpatory method. Palpate the radial artery pulse. Inflate the bag gradually till the pulse at the wrist disappears. Then deflate the cuff very slowly and note the pressure at which the first pulsation appears. This is the systolic blood pressure. So by palpatory method, we can get the rough idea of the systolic blood pressure. Also note that the systolic blood pressure at radial artery will be approximately 10 mmHg less than that at the brachial artery. Advantage of palpatory method is that the auscultatory gap, if any present, is not missed in the auscultatory method if the BP is first recorded in the palpatory method. Auscultatory gap is the period of diminished or absent Korotkov sounds during the manual measurement of blood pressure. Next is the auscultatory method. The parts of stethoscope are the earpiece, the tube, and the diaphragm, and the bell present in the bag for infants. Apply the stethoscope lightly over the brachial artery located by palpation. Inflate the cuff to almost 30 mm of mercury above the pressure observed by the palpatory method. Then deflate it slowly and listen to the appearance of a series of sound known as the Korotkov sound. The pressure at which the sound appears is the point of systolic pressure, and the point at which sound disappears is the measure of diastolic blood pressure. Korotkov sound. When the pressure in the cuff is progressively lowered, the sounds undergo a series of changes in the quality and intensity. These sounds are known as Korotkov sound. They are heard in 5 different phases. In first phase, the appearance of faint, clear tapping sound is recorded as the systolic BP is gradually increased in its intensity. In the second phase, the mercury column is lowered down gradually and the sound becomes murmurish. In third phase, it becomes loud and clear sound. In fourth phase, it becomes muffled, that is merging sound, and in fifth stage, it disappears, which is the diastolic blood pressure.